Hi guys, welcome to another book review. It's been about a month since I posted, but that's because the book that I was reading is about 500 pages, so it took me a minute to get through it. So today I'm going to be talking about myths and legends, and this actually has a collection of different stories from different cultures. So you've got your Greek in there, you have Celtic, you have Scottish, you have Norse, which is also Viking, and you have Chinese, African, and Native American. So there's a lot of really cool stories in here from a variety of different cultures. And actually, every introduction chapter before you get to the myths and legends talks about the cultural significance of some of these legends, and just also a little bit of information about what the culture was like, or if some of these stories are still relevant. Like, some of these stories are very superstitious in nature, and some cultures are still very superstitious. So it can be helpful just to get a little bit of background. If you're someone who's got the travel bug currently and you are planning to go somewhere, might be kind of cool to read about some of their myths and legends, just because it gives you a little bit of insight into what might have been important to them at a certain time, or just give a little bit of background. Like, for example, Scottish myths and legends are sometimes entwined with real historical events or real people. So reading some Scottish myths and legends before you go to Scotland might be helpful in that aspect. Just saying. It's interesting to read some of these as well, because it really does show or highlight, I guess, how frequently we sometimes retell these stories or have brought new life to some of these legends or characters within them, and given them new pop culture significance, right? So if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, you can just think about Thor and Loki. That is a Norse / Viking collection of stories, and of course Thor, Loki, Odin, they were some of their gods, which if you read the legends, the cool thing I found about those legends were that their gods were obviously not perfect. They were very flawed, and they made mistakes. And so to me, that indicates that they're showing, yes, even the most powerful of folks that we look up to can still make mistakes and mess up, right? So that's always interesting, because you always do have some cultures where their gods are very like, no, I never make a mistake, and then you have others where it's like they almost have this human-esque quality about them, where they do have some flaws and they have some negatives, right? Then going back to Scottish myths and legends, you have the highly successful show Outlander. That has a lot of Scottish mythology, a lot of Scottish history. There's a really good Scottish collection of stories in here. So it does really bring about everything a little bit kind of full circle. And then of course you have traditional Greek myth, which I don't know about you guys, but I remember in elementary school, not elementary school, like junior high and high school, having to read certain Greek stories. You got Odysseus, which is by Homer. You've got Medea, which, don't name your daughter Medea. And if you don't know why I'm saying that, just Google Greek figure Medea, and they'll give you the rundown of her story. Unless, of course, you would like your daughter as an adult to end up on an episode of Oxygen Snapped, then sure, go for it. Name your kid Medea. I wouldn't though, just saying. Then you of course have the more traditional stories of Heracles or Hercules, as we call him. I don't know where in America we got Hercules and not Heracles, but that happened. Then you also have the Battle of Troy, which did experience a kind of new Renaissance period when Brad Pitt played Achilles in the movie Troy, and you had that storyline of Paris and Helen getting together. Even though she was married, he like whisked her away to his kingdom. So obviously these are stories we keep coming back to retell or giving them new life. Like in a way we've done that with Thor and Loki and those characters, right? Because now look at Disney / Marvel, you know, all of that. And then of course you also have the series American Gods, which has a little bit of the same gods, a mixture of other gods like Egyptian gods. They've even told some Native American stories on that show, which are pretty cool. Then I would definitely say what's interesting is just getting to learn a little bit about a variety of different cultures, and maybe even how they feel about certain resources like earthly elements, or how they feel about certain animals, right? There's obviously in myths and legends a lot of talking animals, a lot of, you know, fanciful creatures. Like in Chinese mythology, monkeys are seen as very mischievous, so that's why a lot of the characters who are monkeys are kind of like naughty in their myths and legends. You really do kind of get a better understanding of some cultures if you take the time to read about their folklore. And I mean, chances are, you know, you might run into some tours and stuff like that in your travels where they bring up some of these myths and legends. So it would be kind of cool to have a little bit of information before you go. Not saying you have to, I'm saying might be a good idea. Don't worry, the next book I read will actually have more of a plot to it. I was just geeking out with this one. But yeah, till next time.